Hi, my name's Emma Rachmaninov. I'm a partner in the Financial Services Group at Freshfields, Bruckhaus, Deringer. What brought me to the 9th Annual City Week? So I think it's one of the premier events, if not the premier event, for the industry in London. It's always got a very strong mix of regulators, industry, and obviously professional services, and gives us some insight as to what the next 12 months and ahead will hold. I have, and I've always found it really informative. I've also looked at some of the other events that you guys hold through the year and presented at some of those as well, so I'm a big fan. Really good, really good. I thought that there were some interesting, lively debates. I think that one of the skills that you guys have when you organise it is that you make sure that there are people on panels who will have a dialogue. So it's not just sort of a presentation of what the rule is or what the issue is. There's actually a real dialogue between the panellists. What session was I on? So I spoke on the panel on transforming culture in financial services. I hope that it went well. The thing I really took away from it, being a lawyer, was how the practical impact of that on firms and how particularly big financial institutions are trying to move the culture to the way they want to be and measuring it. So I thought the practical elements that came out of that panel hopefully resonated with the room. I think, again, the aspects of City Week that I found most interesting were just the mix of people in the room. So I think it's good to see other sort of financial services, service providers, professional services, but really the fact that you've got some of the regulators in the room giving key indications, hopefully, as to where their policy might land and talking about how they're thinking about it, as well as the politicians. So there's a real sort of macro element to it as well. I always find that's particularly interesting. Topics I'd like to see discussed going forward. I think there was a big discussion around sort of global regulation, where we headed, convergence, divergence, and I think exploring that theme further would be really interesting. And if we could do it, and I don't know quite how easy it would be to do, would be to look at it on how different elements of the financial services sector are having to cope with that. So asset management, for example, or the banks. So I'd like to see a bit more sector exploration. What have I gained from my attendance at City Week? I think that I've met some really good contacts. I've networked, which is always enjoyable. I feel like I've got a feel for direction of the next 12, 18 months and beyond in terms of regulatory policy, to the extent that can be given in a public forum. And I think some of the key topics have been explored in a really interesting and practical way. Why does City Week stand out from other conferences? I think because it does manage to combine the sort of really big macro element with also the sort of more granular practical elements, and it is more international in its outlook, despite the fact that we're based here, obviously in the wonderful Guildhall, looking at sort of a city building. I think there is a really international outlook, and I think the panellists tend to always show that.